Welcome to Rebranding Menopause podcast. We're so happy to be here today with our co-host, Dana Persico. Hello, Missy.
Hi, everyone.
Sharon is not with us today. Sharon Grasso is an educator for Sciton, and she's in Arizona. So she is learning the latest and greatest about skincare and lasers.
And lecturing.
She's so smart. Isn't she so smart?
She is everything technology and laser.
Yeah, she actually has really transformed my skin. I didn't even look like this about 6 weeks ago. Unrecognizable. We are so excited to have you here, Lauren, Fountain of 30.
Yes.
Tell us about your, is it a podcast?
No, the podcast is Beauty is a Bitch.
Beauty is a Bitch. I love that.
Thank you.
So you have a podcast and you have a
blog and a whole social.
Okay.
Thing. Well, I mean, mostly Instagram.
That's how I first saw you on Instagram. You did a live, and I think it was probably during COVID.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Was your hair a little darker?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah, during COVID for sure.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get it colored.
You should have called me.
She had the COVID color.
Yeah, I had the COVID color. I had my hair color. A friend that, she cuts my kids' hair, but she also does color. And she would come with a mask and we'd sit out on my porch. And she would do my hair and I'd run in and shower.
We had like a speakeasy.
Oh,
we won't talk about that.
Oh, yeah, you're not. Oh, sorry. I probably shouldn't say that. I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
You have to. I mean, desperate. It
was desperate times. It was
desperate measures, really. Come on now.
Yeah. So I started actually as a blog. It was called Second City Style in Chicago, and I have a business partner, Carol, who was
Chicago and people from Chicago.
Chicago's. I would still be. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would still be there if I had not met my husband, who was a New Yorker. Oh yeah, I had no desire to leave. I love Chicago.
How did you meet him?
A weekend in New York with. I wasn't with my mom at the moment I met him, but I was coming in.
That would have been really weird.
It would have been really weird.
But where did you meet in New York?
In a bar.
Wow.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
And I was meeting a girlfriend for a drink. Long story, I'd missed a flight. Missed a flight. Got in too late to meet my mom for dinner, who was coming in from Europe, so she had jet lag. And I did this for my dad. He made me, because he was sick, and he made me go meet her. And I say made because it was like the worst weekend I possibly could. I was busy launching my business, Second City Style. And so I missed my flight. I was all this when I got in, God, I need a drink. And I called a friend of mine who lived in Manhattan. I'm like, hey, let's meet for a drink somewhere between you and my hotel. And so she picked a bar, and I met her there. And I was early and she was late, and I walked up to the bar.
Wow, that is fate.
It was really weird. And then I tried to set her up. I tried to set this guy up with my friend because she had just broken up with someone. Because I live in Chicago. I have no desire. I was not even looking.
Come on.
No way.
Yep. And then here I am. So I never thought in a million years I'd be living.
What's his name?
His name is Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah. And so I moved
here.
It's a good name. Yeah. And we lived in Manhattan. And then until we had our second child, soon after that, we, like everybody else, we moved to the burbs.
Right. Now you live in Port Washington.
Live in Port Washington,
right?
yes.
Okay, great.
Port. Got to get it right.
Oh, yeah, Port.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Or P-dubs.
Please forgive me. So your Instagram right now mainly focuses on how to age healthy, age well.
Yeah, we had a shift. I mean, there's, as my life changes,
so does
my audience.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So, and
that's like me. I used to work in a strip club, and now I'm talking about menopause.
So that is quite the segue.
No, she didn't. Connie would have not had any. No, Connie wouldn't have allowed that.
I'm just saying, your life changes with your Instagram. Right?
It does.
It
really does. Yeah. If I go back and look at my older content, I would not recognize it.
Right.
Yeah. But because we started as a blog in Chicago, it was actually as fashion because I was in my 30s and I really cared. That was I still love fashion, but I don't. There's many other things that are more important to me now.
Right.
But it was fashion and beauty. And, it was a different time. I wasn't even married yet. Then I got married. But I never covered bridal stuff. I was never into that.
Yeah.
But
I do think, though, social media is very funny when you look back at what you used to be like, right? So I always joke around and I'm like, Ingrid Krumholz, she was nice. She was cute. She was in shape and fit. And I like my Ingrid Dodd now too, but it's like you really can. It's almost like the story of your life if you're one that posts a lot. Like
actually, I like mine better now.
You do.
I think I've aged better. Knowing what I know.
Yeah.
Then like when I look at pictures of myself, 20 years ago, I'm like, I think I like myself better now. Like the way I look, the way I,
that's the thing. You think the confidence just exudes. Yeah. And like today I was in my hot tub. It's my birthday. I was born on leap year, but so
she's 12.
So I'm 12.
How old are you?
But I was like literally tearing up in the hot tub. I was like, I am so grateful for everything about my life and every person in my life I love so much. And it's almost like that when you get out of church sometimes, or wherever you pray, or if you even pray, that feeling you have. You just feel so grateful because you're confident and you just.
Well, it's also that I think you're more retrospective and you appreciate things so much more, knowing what you know, because we've seen a lot.
Right.
And I'm, we're hopefully excited for the future. And so you learn that the people you want to take into your future are those that really add something to your life.
Right.
And to me, what's been amazing is like having the freedom to let go of the people that didn't,
Right.
Bye-bye,
like
that's been amazing.
Regrets. Yeah.
See ya. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
It does.
It feels
doesn't
so good to say no. It feels so good to say see ya. It just feels
or say
good.
nothing.
Or say nothing.
You say nothing and life just kind of takes its
Yeah.
course.
People should.
You say the 5 people that you hang around with the most really influence how you feel, how you think, and be careful who those 5 people are.
Right.
Well, I listen a lot to Mel Robbins. So
I am obsessed
reading her book right now.
Oh, she had a couple of good ones.
Do you know her and I are best friends in my head?
In your head, yeah.
We are best friends in my head. I'm not even kidding.
Why not?
Yeah.
So that really resonates with a lot that she says. And, it's given me the freedom, like the let them theory. And I kind of was moving towards it anyway, but like reading about it. And it's just like,
it's so age appropriate.
I feel my shoulders just,
And let me.
Let me.
Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. You do you, but allow me, then I'm going to allow you to do what you need to do. And so you need to show me the same. And I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah. I grew up in an Italian household and I adore my mother. She's one of my best friends. But in our family, it was kind of like you're almost obligated to do certain things, which it's not. I can't say obligated. That's a terrible word. The expectations.
No deviation. Like it's expected.
Right. There is no. I remember one time I said to my mom, she said, I'd like to come and have breakfast with you. This was a while ago. She probably doesn't even remember this. I hope she's not watching. She's going to kill me. She'll call me on the phone and be like, I cannot believe you said that. Anyway, I go to the gym every morning, 8 o'clock, right? And she said, why do you need to go to the gym every morning? And I would say, okay, I won't go today and I'll be with you. But now I'm like, nope. That is
non-negotiable.
A non-negotiable time in my life every single day. Don't ask me for a phone call. Don't ask me for this. And it's so nice to be able to say that and not feel guilty.
Yep.
Because that's the other thing. You can do it.
Well, your family can put some major guilt on you.
For sure.
Yeah. I grew up with 2 of my best friends. One came from a large Irish Catholic family. The other one from an Italian family. I was around it. Big families, saw it, and I had the total opposite.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I'd go over to their houses because it was more fun. There was a lot going on.
Right. Yeah.
Mine was quiet.
Yeah. No, my house was not quiet. Yeah. My mother she let anybody in my house. My house was always packed. She always had food. She always made dinner. And I don't want to say, like you said, she never made me feel badly about myself. She always made me feel like I was the best thing since sliced bread. But
that's great.
She had certain ways in the family. Like she still has Sunday dinner.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, I love
that.
Too.
I think that's great.
Yeah,
I gravitated towards that as a young girl. Mm-hmm. It's just you want sometimes what you didn't have. You know, I mean, I have a close family, but there weren't many of us. There was 4 of us living in the house, and it was just quiet. And my mom didn't buy food, so nobody came to my house for food.
Dirt.
I ate dirt and grass and air and rice cakes.
Well, it did good. You look amazing.
But I was always fighting weight. Always like,
look at her teeth. Aren't they beautiful?
Thanks.
I was looking at
braces. And then as you get older, by the way, if you have braces when you're younger and they start shifting, you need a retainer. I absolutely am big on a retainer.
Yeah.
Like I share all the secrets.
I love that about you.
I just like it's.
So tell everybody what your Instagram is so they know.
Okay. It's at Fountain of 30. It's also my blog. And we on the blog we talk more about like fashion and beauty, travel, food recipes, things like that. And on the Instagram, it's mostly me. Well, it is me, and I have definitely shifted more to like aging well, and by that I mean specifically.
Can I ask you how old you are, or no? Should I not ask her?
That's okay. I'm 57.
Okay, so you're the same age as me, but you look absolutely stunning. That's why I ask. Your skin's perfect.
Well, I can thank Sharon for that too. Sharon does my skin.
Sharon is the badass. Let me tell you.
She's been
laser
very
in
helpful.
the pocket.
Pardon me?
Yeah. She has a laser in her pocket.
Yep.
Wherever she
Yeah,
goes.
she's like,
great.
Look at that.
She's been very helpful. Good skincare. You know, I get to test a lot, try a lot, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, over the years, I've also broken out a lot from some, but
Have you tried the BBL Heroic and Moxie laser? Because that's what I just did, and I can't even
did
believe
it a
what
month
my
ago.
skin looks like.
Not even 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I did it, and I'm supposed to go in for another one.
She also did my my neck and my chest.
Yep.
I had
Your décolleté.
Your
sorry, my
décolleté.
décolleté,
get
but
it
I
right.
had big brown spots.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I just
The only
feel
thing, the
so
real bummer is
great.
though, once you go out in the sun, like, you know, and I try not to. I mean, I'm like, in the 80s, I worship the sun, and if I could get those hours back, I'd be so thankful. But
you really have to be diligent about
oh,
the sunscreen.
I am so like I won't even like when I got out of the shower in the morning, even if I know I'm gonna stay home that day, I still put sunscreen because God forbid I walk by a window and I don't have sunscreen on. I'm like,
I use Meadow and Bark. Their sunscreen's amazing. But even when I was outside this morning in the jacuzzi, I called my husband. I'm like, this isn't going to work. I have fresh skin. I need an umbrella.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna need
Because in the morning at 6:30 in the morning, it's still,
yeah.
you still feel those sun rays.
Yeah.
oh, the problems you have.
Problems. It's a problem.
But in the jacuzzi.
Well, the only reason why I have the jacuzzi is because my old ass was so sore from the my low estrogen, and that's the God's honest truth. But now that I started with the estradiol patch,
Look, that
life
HRT
changer.
is a game changer.
Game
So
changer.
are you part of HRT for yourself, or you just have a lot of experience? Have you ever used it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
a
Okay.
You dabbled.
card-toting member
so
of
what's
the
your
HRT.
cocktail? Do you know?
The estradiol patch. I
Got
can't remember exactly. 2 times a week,
Okay.
and
Okay,
I
so-
take progesterone.
Right at night.
How much progesterone do you take?
I'm
This
little
is the
white pill?
HRT. This is the estradiol patch, people.
Right.
Just so you know.
So do you do
it just
your
peels
progesterone
off
at
and
night?
goes right onto
I
your.
do. I do it. I take
Lower
everything at
abdomen.
night
Right.
because I get nauseous,
so you
like
can
even
sleep through it.
supplements.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just take everything at night and go to sleep because I can
Right.
sleep. But like if I get up in the morning, I used to try to take stuff in the morning. I was so sick.
work.
Doesn't work for me. So I mean, even if I'm supposed to take it in the morning, I still
Right.
probably
Do you
take
have a prescription for testosterone?
it. Okay.
Do 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 do.
I-
do,
Oh,
do,
this is
do,
an
do.
okay.
Usually it's a yes.
question.
So-
No, I did. Okay, I
Detail.
did.
I want me some
You did.
testosterone
Okay.
too.
Did because I do see a functional medicine doctor who's also is an OB by training. So
Sure.
That's the best of both worlds,
it,
right?
it really is. It really is because by
Where
the
is your doctor?
she is in Roslyn
Okay.
Okay.
and she's amazing. And
Is she a very sought after doctor?
yeah, she is. It's
Okay.
probably the one you know.
Yes. Okay.
I could say it. Her name's
Yeah, yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Sadati.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And at the time, this was really interesting. So I wasn't going to talk about perimenopause, but how I found out I was in perimenopause was I had a horrific period, or a few of them. I thought I was dying.
Everyone
And
says
I
that.
went to my
Hemorrhage.
doctor
Yeah.
who said, my OB who said, oh, well, you're in perimenopause. I'm like, what the hell is that? I'd never, ever even heard that term before. This is like, what, 2015 maybe?
Right.
I was like, excuse me? And so,
the way everyone is like, what?
right?
No,
What? No, but like today, no, women know what perimenopause is. I mean, I didn't. I'd
didn't
never heard of
either.
it. I'd heard of menopause, but never perimenopause.
never heard of
2015
it
was the
either.
year. That's
Yeah.
what happened for me too. So I'm with you. Go ahead.
So I went to I asked my OB after when I went back, because now I'm in menopause and I'm starting to have some issues.
Right.
Oh, I did an ablation for the perimenopause, by the
sure.
way. I did that. So then that was cool. So that stopped it. They like do an ablation of the
Okay, right,
lining and then you
They
stop
burn.
having these horrific periods.
But it
then
doesn't last.
It's and then I just went into menopause. So then I'm starting to have some of the symptoms that people talk about, and there's many of them, but the one side something was up, and I went to back to my OB, and I'm like, hey, should we talk about HRT. And he was like, I don't believe in it.
And you said, see
And
ya.
I said, I'm sorry, what? And that's one of the first times, well, not first, but I did advocate for myself. I'm like, well, that's not acceptable.
Right.
Like, no.
But how did you know that? Because back then,
Because
even though I say back then,
it's not
back
that long
then,
ago.
no.
It wasn't that long ago. The thing is, I had gotten inadvertently, didn't realize it sort of involved in the menopause community before I was even in menopause. And I still had not heard of perimenopause, by the way. I just started touching into that. Actually, I think that was right after I went through the perimenopause and had the ablation. So I knew a bit about it. Okay. So I was like kind of armed, and as I was learning more, I finally went, but when I had my annual, I went back and I was like, let's talk about it. And he's like, so at the time I had started seeing my functional medicine doctor, who is an OB.
Right.
So I asked her about it, and she's the one that prescribed it for me and did all the tests. So I kind of did it, which was great, in conjunction with doing all of my blood work and my panels for the, that she requires for that side of the medicine. So it was perfect. She could see, like, I'm not producing any testosterone. And I still know I'm not, because I'm not taking it. So here I am years later. I've probably been on HRT for 3 years now. No, 3 or 4. Maybe 4, maybe even 5. I don't know. It's been a while. And we did annually, we do my blood work, and she's like, your testosterone is like, zero.
Right, like not even
registering. There's zero. Right.
That's my,
so
the way
then
my
she put me on the cream, and then how to get it from a compounding pharmacy.
Sure.
So it's adequately, because if you use the men's stuff, God knows what. Yeah, and I didn't want.
Well,
like,
you
to
could
talk
actually. That's a new trend, that they're actually injecting women with testosterone, but traditionally or historically, it's been in the compounded form.
Compounded.
But let's step back a second, please, and let's just talk to people that might not know. People might hear testosterone and say, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I don't want to talk like a man, and I don't want to like sprout whiskers
hair,
and
have an Adam's apple.
An Adam's apple, right? That's not what I'm looking.
It's an anabolic steroid, so it's building.
Right.
Everything is enhancing. Everything is building up, if you will.
Yep.
Well, everything like what? Your muscles, is it mainly taken for muscles, to keep your muscles healthy?
Oh no, it's more.
It's
complex. It's very complex, but you need.
I might have to
it's like the
GPT
balance.
this.
It's the balance, and I'm great now on estrogen. Well, not great. I'm still not great. I mean, but better.
Because you have testosterone up until you start to deplete all of the hormones.
Correct.
Right.
And
so
that's
it is a fine balance. And some old school doctors would prescribe it. So you had the vaginal cream. They would actually have you use the suppository.
Yep.
And if it wasn't working for you, applying on your upper arm or maybe applying it, near your abdomen, they would actually have you insert the testosterone in order to get your libido back. So
that's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So many different, schools of thought of how to use it. But now the new thing is that they're actually injecting it. So men who inject it for all those reasons, to grow their hair back, to get the energy, to have an increased libido, they're giving the lowest dose possible to women. I don't know how often. I don't know enough about it. We actually have a specialist coming on in April
that's
to talk about it. But it's a new trend. And when my girlfriend mentioned it to me, I said, I haven't heard about that, so I'm just going to ask you, do me a favor, just pause and make sure whoever's telling you that this is what they're doing, that you really research
This is why I go, I want traditional HRT, FDA approved, prescribed, covered by my insurance. I'm not going, I'm sorry.
Test market's not for
I am
you.
not, do not test on me.
Yeah. No, I'm not a test market
When people
person
do the
either.
bioidentical hormones or they do whatever, you're playing Russian roulette, and you don't know what's in that stuff. Yeah. You're doing a pellet. You don't know what effect that's going to have on you later. I just am sticking with, by the way, my insurance covers it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not spending hundreds of dollars a month on my.
Lots of hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I just go, and by the way, this is coming from my functional medicine doctor. Right. She's the one that wants me that stuff, not yes, the testosterone, the way that I would want to take it has to be compounded at this point. And I stopped taking it because I don't know. I think it was a confluence of things, but over the summer, late summer, I started losing my hair. quite
and
a
you
bit.
were on the testosterone at the time. So
Yeah,
that
just.
seems so,
Wow.
to me, like
So counter,
counterintuitive,
I know,
right,
I
of
know.
what you
But
would
it could have been
expect.
some other, it could have been stress. It could be menopause. I mean, we're not sure. We've tested
Wow.
everything. She did a whole battery of other tests on me.
So the doctor said to stop the testosterone.
Yeah, I stopped it.
So what about the implication of still taking progesterone, estradiol, but not having the testosterone present? It doesn't throw the whole
No, because that's what I've been
system
on.
up.
That's what I've been on.
And it's
since.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously there's going to be issues because I'm not taking testosterone. I'm tested. It's okay. I mean, what am I going to, I'm not going to lose my hair.
No, for sure. I mean, my testosterone over the summer, when I had my panels done, was high, a little too high. And I had noticed that I was getting acne.
Yep.
And I said, adult acne, I really don't want it. On top
Exactly.
of everything else. So
Exactly.
what they did was they lowered the dose, and I use it every other day. And now the blood panels are back to normal.
Okay. So you found the balance.
Yeah.
So this is a full-time job, people.
It is.
It sort of
Finding out
is. And
what
everybody's
With side
different.
effects.
Everyone's different.
Full-time job with side effects.
Right.
It is. But that's the other thing too, is it's not, be really careful when, you have a friend that's like, oh, I take this, black cohosh maybe, or whatever it is that they think works.
It takes 2 years to work. But
And
fine.
supplements, and they're trying to supplement, the worst thing that you can do is take like 2 fistfuls of supplements a day. If they're like counteracting each other, they could be counteracting with your
Something
medications.
else.
Right.
You don't,
Your autoimmune
don't know.
system
Yeah.
could be so affected. You have to be really careful.
I think it's really important too that this is something that actually I had a podcast guest on my podcast yesterday, and we were talking about that. Look for the evidence. It has to be evidence based. Make sure it's backed by science. Trust
Right.
the science. Follow the science. Do not go on like TikTok and think that you're going to find. It scares me.
Or if
It's the
you
wild.
like
I
it, go
do-
to your doctor and bring that information
Yes.
and have a conversation with
Yeah.
somebody who has the experience to
100%.
say, don't listen to that.
I'm not a doctor, and I did end up bringing my two big Target bags full of supplements, and I'm like, this is what I'm taking, and it was like, okay, you don't need this. This is
a
crap.
lot of them don't work.
Don't work.
They don't.
Oh, don't buy your. And I was like, don't buy your supplements at Target. Think like
Right.
get good
Right.
quality.
Right. You have to get good quality.
And yeah, I mean, see somebody that can help you with this. Don't just start taking it because your friend's taking it or you saw it on TikTok or whatever.
Well, I have to say, I know that like if you see it on TikTok, you have to do your research, but
Sure.
there's a lot of good information on TikTok too.
100%.
Like I know a lot of times if I need anything when it comes to how to put the patch on or what,
Right.
you
You can
know,
find it.
You can find it. You
Oh,
can
well,
find,
for
like,
that
your
kind of stuff,
step-by-step.
yes. But I mean, if you're looking
But
for
not
like,
prescriptive.
if you're looking for like relief from pain,
Right.
Anything, anything that requires you sticking something in your mouth, or I'm like, don't
Right.
go there.
Right.
Just don't.
Well, listen, this is really interesting. This says that the International Menopause Society supports testosterone therapy for menopausal women with HSDD. What the hell is that?
I
Find
don't
out
know.
what
I have
that
no
is.
idea.
Emphasizing its safety at appropriate dosages.
Right.
And then the North American Menopause Society states that testosterone can improve sexual function, but cautions against using it for non-sexual symptoms, bone health, cognition, due to insufficient evidence. So there you go.
There you go. There you go. I'm just follow the science. That's there are some amazing. That said, though, there are some amazing doctors that I do follow that on. Well, I don't really go on TikTok that much. I'm more of an Instagram person, but that I follow and I trust them, and I've gotten to know them, and I've seen them at events because I was really quite active.
They're
with like
real.
the amount. What?
They're real and not just social media.
They're real
Right.
people,
AI
and I've
people.
met them and gotten to know them, and I trust them implicitly. In fact, some of them I'll even text to double check and be
And
like, hey.
you have listeners, you have followers, so you have that an additional level of accountability, credibility, and everything that you say, especially because you've been doing this so long. I'm sure some of your followers are with you a long time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they rely on your good information that you really
Right, you
vetted
feel like
it.
you're a good source.
Well, I
but-
consider everybody that my audience is
Right.
like a good friend of mine, and
That's
I
nice.
would want you to
Oh,
take
that's
care
nice.
of yourself, and I want the best for you. And I would hope that I would want you to do what feels right for you. I also don't judge. I mean, we all have our own journey. So, but I just want the best for people. So I'm very honest. Anytime I make a reel, I speak, I do so. I'm looking at the audience as like my friend, like my best girlfriend, and like would I want that for you?
Would I guide my best friend in the world in the
Correct.
right direction? Absolutely
Yeah, and I would
not.
feel terrible if I gave somebody bad advice. And trust me, I get checked.
Yeah.
God forbid I say, I'm very careful, but there are people that, like doctors, that will kind of like, Lauren, that wasn't really.
Yeah, we get that. We get
Yeah,
that too
you
sometimes
do.
because listen, this is a conversation, and I always say this.
Right.
You know, our menopause is a girlfriend's guide to menopause. It's kind of like just talking with your friends. So anything that we say or anything that we recommend is just something that we've experienced, not that we're recommending for other people.
And I'm always say, check with the doctor. And by the way,
Absolutely.
if
Check
you
with the
advocate
doctor.
for yourself, if you don't like what your doctor is saying to you, or you feel like you are, just being gaslit, or you're not getting the answers, like I did for my OB that said he didn't believe in, I was like, that's not okay. And that, and I mean, now we talk about gaslighting all the time. It's like kind of a term that's overused, but trust your gut.
Right.
If somebody is not, you have to advocate for yourself. You're the only person that can do that. And if something doesn't feel right or your questions aren't being answered, find another doctor. Find another doctor. I cannot stress that enough.
I agree with that.
I have fired doctors recently, and I'm okay with it. Yeah. In fact, I'm more upset with myself for sticking with them for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's non-conventional that I do. I will take my blood work and I'll put it in DeepSeek or Grok or ChatGPT, and I'll talk to it. Hi, this is a 56-year-old woman who's had a knee replacement and has, feeling tired and joint pain and blah, blah, blah. And I put all my blood work in there. The shit that comes back, you would not believe. And it's always 100% right.
Okay, because that would freak me out. And
I don't use it. I don't use it. I don't use
Well,
it
if
to
you know how to-
medicate myself or
No,
anything.
but
But
you know how
I
to
use it
prompt
as
it. It's
I use it to advocate for myself and
Right.
to ask the questions when I go in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I do believe you have your questions ready.
Because a lot of times, like there have been 2 instances where they missed something on my blood work,
Right.
and they just missed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I had to bring it to their attention, and it made a big difference in my care. And so you have to be your
You
own
also have to,
advocate.
you also have to remember too, we got 15 minutes with a doctor. So if you're not prepared when you go in there, like, do you have any questions? And you're like have them ready, write them out.
Yeah.
I keep every supplement and medication that I take on a little piece of paper with me. And when I go to a doctor and they're like, what are you taking? A new doctor? I'll be like, here. And I just hand it to them because I don't want to mess up the doses. I don't want to mess
Right.
it.
That's
And
smart.
I do that now. And I know I've got just a few minutes with this doctor. So if I have questions, I walk in with them.
That's why I love Dr. McNally from Northwell Health. She's been on this show a few times, and she's been my saving
I
grace.
know, yeah.
Such
but
an expert.
she
Yeah.
not only is she an expert,
great.
but she does the telehealth calls.
Yeah.
So I'm in my living room, she's in her office, and we're just chatting. And I feel so comfortable, and I don't know, I just feel like the care is so much better. Of course, I see her in person too, but the telehealth really, you're comfortable, you're in your own setting. It's not like you're nervous to go to the doctor. It's just amazing.
Also, it's also great for people that don't live and don't have access to the type of medical care that we got, like let's say in New York, or
Right.
if you live more rural, it's good to have options.
And it's a way to circumvent sitting in a doctor's office who's so sought after and so busy, and you wait an hour and a half for them.
Oh, yeah.
You're waiting in the waiting room. So the telehealth really, it addresses a lot of different issues around going to the doctor.
Yeah. You know what's so funny is that talking about going to the doctor, I had to go, Optics is our sponsor, and we went in there for readers.
Right.
All of us went in. Because we always joke around about reading the menu. This one can read it. This one's wearing mobile glasses.
So I could just listen. I don't have to look at the menu. Just order
That's a good
special.
trick. That's I like it.
So I had gone to, for the first time, I had gone to a regular optometrist instead of going to Optics. I could not believe I was waiting in the waiting room for 30 minutes. I had 6 minutes with this person. I was trying to joke around and didn't want anything to do with my humor, did not think I was funny
I
at
have
all.
the best eye doctor. I don't have that problem at all.
Could
He's
not
amazing.
care less.
Yeah.
And then I had to go and pick out my glasses. So I was really like, wow, Optics really is
That's
a
great.
special hat. You get a half hour
So
with the
individualized.
stylist. It's so individualized.
I like
and
the stylist
individuali-
part.
The
Yeah.
individualized
Just picking out-
care, just in every aspect of your life, whatever doctor it is,
Right.
it just makes you feel heard, and it makes you feel comfortable and calm.
I also think it's what we're used to.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We grew up in a time where, we got a little bit more attention when we go do anything like that, any kind of service, a doctor, whatever. And now it's just business. It's a business.
Right. It's a business.
It is. And it's just changed a lot. And I think that we particularly love when someone actually gives us a half an hour of their time focused just on us, right? Or listens. Yeah. It's like, wow.
Right.
Like, I never even heard of a functional medicine doctor before. When we had Fit Fest, we used Beach Family Medical. Dr. English was the first one that I heard of. Right. And I remember them saying, you need to pay a $200 fee in order to even be seen by the doctor. And I was like, what? $200? Just my copay is $25. But then when you realize the amount of care you're getting, and you're going to spend that in a Saturday night dinner, like what's more important, right?
They take such a deep dive.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I just had this conversation with a doctor, and I said, why is it you have to pay out of pocket for this? Why is this not just becoming our standard of care? Right. Why can't every woman, anybody that has insurance, have access to this? Right. And it should be a little bit more equal, because not everybody. And I appreciate that. And listen, I don't. It's very important to me. So yes, I do spend the money on that, but I would sacrifice other things probably.
Exactly. You would
not,
right? You
so
really
I could
would.
because that's that important to me. Because listen, I got to be there. For my family. I want to be there for myself, for my life,
Did
whatever.
the doctor have an answer for you when you said, like, why isn't it all like this? Did they kind of
No, I think that they know too.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if medicine had not turned into such big business and was about medicine, it would be. But, that's why they go private. I mean, this is why you see doctors going concierge. They don't like the system any more than we do. They want to give that kind of care to
and
these
that's what
people.
I find, that the doctors that do have this concierge care, they
really
can't
care
stand
about
the fact that they can't do what they need to do.
It doesn't
for
align with their belief system and
Absolutely.
why they got into medicine in the first place. It's the ones that I've talked to. So I don't really necessarily feel like it's a money grab. I'm sure some of it is, but I think some of it is just like, this way I can spend an hour with a patient
And
if
they're
I need
meeting
to.
the needs of their client base when you
Correct.
think about it. So if that's the expectation and they're setting a standard on what the payment and all of that is, I would imagine they're going to deliver on it.
Correct.
They would have to.
Right.
So
Right. And I think the more we demand things too as women and we don't put up, I mean, things are starting to change. We are so far behind men. And what I saw, Dr. Kelly Casperson, who I adore and I follow.
I love her too.
She's great. And she just posted something on, like, if men, if they totally their bodies freaked out at the age of 52, and we'd have this figured out.
there would have been an
There would have been,
absolute
they would have a
long
pill
time
for
ago.
it. They would have been figured out a long time ago.
Well, that's why Dana and I and Sharon, we've been in talks with the producer of the M Factor film.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but Dana is an advocate for education in Washington, D.C. And we spoke to them yesterday about creating some kind of legislation where it's a standard operating procedure at 40 years old, just like you would get, a colonoscopy at 50, that they check you have a hormonal panel that's done for you.
That's
before
covered.
sending before sending you to a mental health specialist for your depression, and a physical therapist for your achy bones. So there's so much that can
And I know there's quite a few doctors in the menopause space that are fighting, that are going to Capitol Hill and trying to, and there are some things going on with, doctors, women trying to just advances so that we do have more options and we do have more answers that are based on study, because as everybody talks about that WHO study back in 2002, what it did for women in menopause was horrendous, and that should never happen again.
the Women's
The
Health
misinformation
Organization.
should
The
never happen again.
misinformation was so
It needs
terrible.
to really be acknowledged, and then they need to right-side it 100%.
Yeah.
I was just telling them on the last podcast that we did that I went to the American Heart Association Go Red for Women luncheon. And I went with my friend Elisa DiStefano. She's a news reporter. And I'm sitting there, and she knows how crazy I am about all the misinformation.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm looking down at my plate, and I see a PDF printout that says, you are an increased risk of stroke with hormone replacement therapy. Not
Did you lose your mind? Did you lose your mind?
I lost my mind. She had to calm me down. She's like, I'm like, who put this out there?
The American Heart Association is perpetuating this. Right.
So there was 600 people there at the Crest Hollow Country Club. So I said, everybody's seeing this. Yeah. They don't know the difference. So then I found the doctors that were on the panel on the stage. And I said, what do you guys think of this? And they said, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit.
It's bullshit. Because is it true that 8% of women out of a 10,000 study were at a risk for stroke? Yes, but they had pre-existing conditions.
Right. Well, you do know when they did that original study, they tested it on women in like their 60s.
Right, between like 55 and 76.
It's not even. Yeah, it was not even wasn't even properly studied, and then it affected women for years. Women were going off of their hormone replacement therapy so quickly, and the damage that did, and the misinformation that came from that, and the scare tactics. I mean, I know when I talked to my doctor about HRT, I'm like, listen, there's breast. I was concerned about breast cancer, and
if it's not estrogen driven, then you can take it.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that, oh my God, you're going to get breast cancer if you take HRT, and now I know that's been debunked. I mean, there's many things that's why I say you need to find out, advocate for yourself, do the research, but make sure that the research isn't just on TikTok.
But you know what's so funny is that no matter what research is done and how it's debunked and how I'll tell my mom, please just read this. Nope, it'll cause cancer. They'll find out in 10 years that it's wrong. It doesn't matter. They are programmed. The Stella sisters in my family are programmed that's it. End of story.
Well, when they come out with another study that's like foolproof, then they might believe it.
They might consider it.
They like show me the evidence. I mean, I get it.
I get it.
And we're so. I mean, it's crazy right now. You don't know what to believe. It's like the Wild West out there.
It is.
A lot of information.
It's a lot of information, a lot of misinformation. Mm-hmm. So again, that's why I'm always saying advocate for yourself, because as I like to say, I want to see us not just live longer, but live those years healthy, so that we have an increased health span, not just a longer life.
Right.
I'd like to live those years healthier.
It's so funny. Someone had asked me, where do you see yourself in 30 years? And I was like, oh shit, I'll be 87 years old. I don't think of myself ever at 87.
Right. Okay, I'm either going to be running the place where I'm living if I'm in a community, or
running it, right?
I'm going to be like,
some of those places
full of
seem
energy.
Like fun. Those 55 and over communities.
Well, wherever I am, I'm going to be running it. Or if I'm not healthy, I don't want to be here. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's really how I feel.
That's the way I feel. If I'm ever incapacitated, or
20 years incapacitated,
tweeze my chin hair, I'm out.
If I can't pull it together, then I'm out. Yeah, I just don't want to live that way. You know, and it's getting scary because we see more and more about like Alzheimer's, and it seems to be more prevalent, and everybody's talking about like an anti-inflammatory diet, and probiotics and gut health and this, that, and the other thing, and how everything does play together. Mm-hmm. But it's, to me, women, I think, are more scared about breast cancer than they are like about heart health, which we know at this point.
Especially if you live on Long Island. Right. Think about that, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Elisa was saying yesterday. She was saying people are just so ingrained in their heads on Long Island, breast cancer, when it's really the heart is
number one. It's the number one killer of women. And but then I'm looking at all the with the dementia, like that seems to be the big thing right now. And a lot of my friends' parents that are still alive have dementia. And like I didn't hear. I mean, you heard about it once in a while. Mm-hmm. It seems a lot more prevalent now. Yeah. And, is that related to our diet, to what we're eating? I mean, it all makes sense. If you just start questioning it and connecting the dots, it makes sense. It makes sense.
I look at my parents, never really drank, and they eat really healthy, and they're smart as a whip. They're always they're 77, but my mother can sometimes run circles around me. She's shopping, she's with her friends,
That's
she's
awesome.
out. They're traveling, they're just never home.
My mom was the opposite. She was a go-getter until my dad died.
Right.
At 82, and she climbed into bed and gave up. I mean, she was like, one day, going, always going, and then just depression just took it and knocked her out. And as soon as you get in bed and you give up, you're dead. Yeah. I mean, you're on a slippery slope, especially when you're in your 70s. 80s, forget it. You can't do that. So that's why, like, I'm always pushing. I'm like, I want to be able to get off the toilet when I'm 82 years old. Like, I want, like,
do those squats.
Because I saw what happens. Right. I saw it with my own two eyes, watching it with horror, watching what happened to my mom. Now, was a lot of that mental? Absolutely. But it's amazing how one thing can lead to another, and it's just a whole trickle down.
I'm wondering, did she have a group of friends around her at all times?
Like, she had a massive group of friends, but when you get depressed, you shut them out.
Because that's what I find is so helpful. Like, even with me and the gym, right? I know, like, every single morning I have my girls.
No, my mom was that. What I'm saying is she was that person.
She was.
Okay. She was healthy. So except for the fact that she smoked and drank too much. But I mean, she was thin.
How old were your parents when they met?
My dad was 20. My mom was 21 and my dad was probably 28, 29.
Yeah.
There was 8.5 years.
Physiologically, something happens when you lose your spouse. You've been married that long.
For sure.
That, you know.
But you can also, like, not make the choice, because I understand, like, depression's depression. I get that. Yeah, but if you don't handle it, then it can take over your life, and it can turn you into somebody that your family does not recognize. And I saw that. Hard. It was really hard that my mom just like who are you? It was shocking.
Sometimes I can see, like, if you, like, I had a couple that I knew that were, like, madly in love. They were high school sweethearts, and one of them got really sick, and they both, you know, kind of went to heaven, and they together, and they didn't want to be without each other. They didn't want to get sick.
I think there's something. That's huge. I mean, I believe that happens. Yeah. I do. I mean, and my mom lasted 5 years without my dad, but those were not quality years.
So those were probably really tough 5 years.
Oh my gosh!
For you, for
it was hell. Yeah. I always say that the day I grew up was the day my dad died.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I was, 47, and I was like, well, I guess I'm an adult now. I mean, I was lucky to go that long, but I'm saying, like, I was definitely did not understand anything until that happened, because
no matter what age you are with your dad, I feel like they always take care of you.
Especially if you're a daddy's little girl, which I was. Yeah. It was brutal. But then what happened was my mom was just like, who I thought, like, ran everything and did everything and, like, was strong and everything. She was like, okay, now you guys can take care of me, basically, and without actually saying those words. So my brother and I were like, what? Like, and I've got 2 little kids at this point. I'm like,
Well, that's the thing.
Sandwich generation.
You think about all, like, women our age, you're younger. Like, you think about all the things you're going through physically, right, and mentally, trying to stay on track with the hormone replacement therapy, keeping whatever relationships you have great in your life, and then if you're lucky enough to have both parents alive, that's a lot to take on too. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel so blessed that I'm not taken care of, or, driving to doctors or doing any of that. But a lot of my friends are. They have a lot on their plate at this.
But it's also the different stages. Like, I was that person, 5-6 years ago, or no, even more than that, with 10 years ago starting, that I became that person, even though I'd fly home a lot and my brother had to take care of me. It's like, you can cruise along and everything's great with your parents. And I don't mean to scare you, but things can change and it sucks, and that to me is like another reason you need to take care of yourself. You're under a lot of stress, aging parents, you got kids. I mean, it's coming at you in every direction.
Right.
So you really got to, like, prepare yourself. Like,
what do you think is the number one thing you can do to calm your shit down? Just to breathe, really relax.
And it sounds, but breath work. It really has changed a lot for me. Because, I do find, like, most of us, we breathe, it stops right here. Your chest
I'm
breathing.
Stopping right here, right now.
Yep, everybody, we all do.
Square. Do you know
yep, the box breath.
Yeah, box breath.
But, like, breathing until your stomach, you feel it down here. Like, for years, I didn't do that.
And then the exhale, to get all of the toxins out, you have to, it almost sounds scary what you do, but it really does work.
And guess what? It's free.
Yeah.
Right. It's free.
And you do it when you want.
Oh, bless you.
Bless you. And how often you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Going for a long walk, being out in the sun, shine, not obviously with your sunscreen on, but, going for a walk, being out in nature, especially, like, first thing in the morning to get to get sunlight, things like that. There's many things that you really can do to help just decompress that central nervous system, but, and by the way, I was not that person.
Right.
I'm like,
Right. I wasn't that person.
Yeah.
Either. And now they're saying, even now, a lot of women are opting, even younger than us, are opting not to even drink anymore.
Which, well, yeah, I think that's great. And, the more I learn, I've definitely cut way back. I mean, especially it wasn't hard to do after COVID. I mean,
oh my God,
it was
COVID
like
at 4 o'clock. I was like, is 4 o'clock acceptable?
Oh, I waited till 5, but like barely.
No,
I was like, opening the bottle at like, 4:59.
Yeah,
like,
and that was so bad for us. So bad.
So bad.
But
and
now they have all these drinks with like all these different little concoctions in it to like, give you a little juice or give you,
Yeah.
Margaret has that soiree drink that was so delicious.
Margaret Joseph was on our podcast.
She's been around for a couple of years. So
I think that's great. I don't, I definitely have cut way back because you know what? I think now, like when I go and drink, I'm like, can I afford to have like tomorrow, not the next day,
right?
not to like be in bed?
And it also has a different effect on you when you're in menopause. You get a headache. You're so sensitive to the alcohol.
Sleep. That's why you need to day drink, people.
Right.
Yeah, well, that is
need
true.
to day drink.
You've been hearing about these happy hours that start like at like not happy hour, but like nightclubs that start like at 5 o'clock, and then we're done at 9.
Allegria. I did that at the Allegria.
Oh my God!
I put on a show. We had Thursday nights.
I love it.
It started at 7 and it ended at 10 because I wanted to be in bed by 10:30. I don't know. It was a lot.
It was great though.
Yeah, but it was so much fun, and there would be 450 people. It was a packed house, and people had the best time. And then you went to bed at 10:30. You're good. You get to go.
Right.
Yeah. And, but the drinking thing definitely is something that, it's not that I mean, damn it, I love drinking. I did. I had a lot of fun, but it just doesn't hit me. I mean, I can feel what it does to my body, especially since I'm
Sometimes
like more.
It's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
No. I have to find a different way. There's got to be something different than drinking. There's
edibles. there are other things,
right?
But
that'll be the next podcast. Okay?
Yeah. But I'm saying if that's what you want, but I just don't want to be hungover, and it's like the toll. Like I used to be able to go out and drink like crazy.
You're right.
And and I always said, like when I was younger in college, like I'm going to just party, and I'm not gonna I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's not happening.
That's not happening.
Age catches up with you. What can you say?
So our next podcast is definitely going to be about some different alternatives from alcohol.
We
right?
should.
I think that would be fun.
It would.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll be listening to that one and watching it.
All right. And maybe we can have a taste test here or there.
That'd be awesome.
I didn't know you were going to say that.
I have some gummies I can contribute to that are pretty good.
See, that's what I'm talking about. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you
Please
for having
subscribe, and we will let you know when this podcast will be airing. We're going to do a little promo right now. I think it's going to be the 21st. It's always on Mondays at 7 o'clock. So we'll keep you posted, and thank you for watching.
Hey, New York. I'm Harvey, proud owner of Optics and veteran in the eyewear industry. Consider this. Why would someone have a closet full of shoes but only a few pair of glasses when eyewear is the only accessory that completely changes the way you look, feel, and the way you're perceived? At Optics, Cartier, Chanel, Dior, Lindbergh headline our extensive collection of luxury eyewear. Our opticians are trained to style and fit your face to ensure that when you leave Optics, your friends will be wondering where you shop.
Hi friends, this is Dana Persico from Long Island Nail, Skin and Hair Institute. The Institute is not only the premier venue for licensing and certification for beauty professionals in Long Island as well as New York State. You can receive beauty treatments specifically for anti-aging, facials, body treatments, laser hair removal, hydrofacial. Our senior students are working in the spa. They are happy to get any of our guests ready for their special event located in Bethpage, New York at 1055 Stewart Avenue.